Hello, hi, welcome. Statistics class. Today we will learn about tabulation, which is very much important in a statistical part. Here we can expect a number of questions with regarding tabulation and also objective of the tabulation. Maybe we also expected the difference between classification and tabulation and classification of tables and content of tables, so or parts of tables, I can say that one. So these are some of the importance concept which is very important with regard to the tabulation. Let us learn one by one in detail. Let's see first the meaning of tabulation. So what is the meaning? So tabulation is a systematic arrangement of data. Is systematic arrangement of data is columns and rows. So if it is arranged in a systematically, that is columns and rows, then it's called as the tabulation. So it is designed to simply simplify presentation of data. To understand, there is a complicated data here and there are data is there. So to make it simplified, so this kind of arrangements are being made for the purpose why to analysis and to array the statistical inference. So this is the main reason behind a systematic arrangement of data. So our raw data cannot be arranged. So there is a proper way that should be arranged in the systematic columns and rows. So that is called as the tabulation. What is the objective behind this tabulation? Let's see that the objective. It is very simple. It is a simplifies the complex data. So it is very simplifying. So there is a complicated data here and there which we cannot understand. So it is very easy. It is a try to make us to understand the complex, complicated data. So another one, it is help us to make investigation. Once we know our data in a systematically arranged rows and columns, then we can able to conduct an investigation with regarding to the data. And finally, it is also help us to comparison. Say example, male and female, two importance. So male and females are there in a class. As a two different people in a class, they're scoring the marks so differently. So once we arranged male and female and the marks, then we can make it very simple. We can just seeing itself, we can say, or we can compare the data by seeing the table itself. Again, it helps to locate omissions and errors that occur in the data, and it is used space economically. Data, the space is given very simple, and all the data should be arranged appropriately. As they appropriately, it's look very beautifying the data, and also the space we can make use of so economically, not many things. And finally, it helps in reference. So these are the certain objectives behind the tabulation. Now say difference between classification and tabulation. So classification, which we already discussed in the previous video. Let's see what is the main differences. So first we'll say that one, classification is a process of statistical analysis. We must know that one, it is a process of statistical analysis. That is a classification. But tabulation is a process of presenting data in a suitable structure. So classification, it is a analysis to be made to arrive the statistical inferences. But tabulation is simply presenting data in a suitable structure, suitable way in a rows and columns. That is the main differences between classification and tabulation. Other than we'll say that one, first data are classified, so classification are done and presented in tables. So classification is the basis for tabulation. So first we should classify, and that later on we try to tabulating the data. So tabulation is a mechanical function of classification. Why? The tabulation classify the data and are placed in a rows and columns. So these are the classification main differences between classification and tabulation. Now we'll see another important one, the classification of tables. So there is a broadly three types they classify, that is based on coverage, the objective and purpose, nature of inquiry. So on the based on coverage, there is a simpler and complex table. In simple, maybe one way, two way, three way, like that. We won't go to say that one. In objective purpose, there is a general purpose table are there. There is a reference table, of course, we have that one also. Special table or summary table. So this is the objective purpose, they are again classify the table. And when we say the nature of inquiry, there is a primary data. Once we get in the data out of that table, again we're going to get some other table that is called as a derived table. So in this two type, primary table and derived table. So these are the classification of table. So now we'll see that once some of the example, especially a simple and complex table, one way, two way things of table, they are classified. Let's see one way classification. That is here we'll say that one in a simple table or one way table. In this we'll say that one table only one characteristics are shown. One way table supplies answer to a question about one character of data only. What is that? So that is a gender. So what is the one character? It is a male and female. So one character they try to simplify. And two-way classification, here we'll say that one different percentage of marks. Less number of students percentage, high number of students percentage, commerce and management, two different two-way the data are classified. And here information about two interrelated characteristics of particular phenomena can be explained. So this is a two-way classification. When it comes to the of three-way classification, so here once again three interrelated phenomena. In the previous we'll say that one only two interrelated characteristics, and when we say in the three, there is a three interrelated phenomena to be studied in a three-way classification. So in three-way table, answer the questions relating to the three interrelated problems. Here we will say that one, that is a classification, that is based on gender they classified, and again the gender again, that is a M.Com and B.Com, based on that again they classify. So there is a three interrelated classification are being done, that is a three-way classification or three-way table. Now an important aspect we're going to learn some of the basic important principles of tabulation. This is very important. Of course, it is very common to know, and it is not everyone know of these basic principles of tabulation. But let us see a brief look of all these principles. And the table should be very clear, concise, adequately titled. So there should be a distinctly number for each reference. Column heading, row heading should be recorded. There is unit of measurement should be specified at appropriate places, not here and there, exactly appropriate places. Explanatory footnote should be there, which we are explaining in the bottom of the thing. And again, source of information, where we got the data. And again, the columns and rows should be clearly separate with the dark lines. So this is very much important. Once we clarify, we separating, then only we'll understand the data very clearly. So they should have a very dark line that should be separated the line. Demarcation should be made between the data of one class and that of other. Comparable data should be put by side, so we can compare side by side. So if we keep side by side, figures in percentage should be approximated before tabulation. So maybe if it is a 5.8, so approximation 6, 7.9, approximation 8. So that approximation should be rounded so that we can understand very clearly. Alignment of figures and symbols should be properly aligned and it adequately spaced to enhance the reliability of the same. And abbreviation should be avoided. This is very much important. We should not use the abbreviated data in the tables. So these are the certain important principles. Of course, this is a very familiar one, but a simple understanding I mentioned here for our benefit. Then we'll see content of the table. So what are the contents are there? So this is some 8 contents are there. This is a very simple one, but let us look once again a brief look of this one. Table number. Each table should be numbered. Should be easy identification. For why? For future references. And every table should have a title. We generally give at the top of the table in the center. So they should have a title and also should have a table number for future references, and again captions. So a captions, it has a main headings and number of small subheadings. This is very important. These caption stubs are very much important to understand the rows and columns very clearly. Stubs, it refers to the headings of the horizontal rows and written on the left hand side of the body. It contains, of course, the body contains the total statistical data which has to be presented. Head note, it refers to the data contained in the major part of the table. So this is head note should be there. The total what is contained that can be explained in a head note, and it placed below the title of the table. So once we title we mention, and below that this subheading. So head note should be there. So what it explains, the major part of the table, what it is going to explain, that one explain the head notes. And footnote, so it given below the table and are mean to clarify anything which is not clarified from the heading, maybe title or it may be stubs or captions. If anything is not clearly understand, so that in footnotes we can understand. It is described in detail so that our reader can understand easily. And finally, the source. So source note, this is very much important. Where exactly the table we got. So that details we are mentioning in the source note. So here the total all the contents of table will understand with clearly with a clear explanation. Now here table number 4.25, the title of the table, that is the population of India according to workers and non-workers by gender and location. So heading and captions. So here is a heading and captions. So that is captions are there, that is a worker, gender, like that. Here row headings are stubs, that is all urban, rural, something like that. Body of the table, all the contents in the table that are there, and there should mention what is the exact, that is a crores units we expressing it is in the crores, that is appropriately are we mentioning. And the footnote, figures are rounded near the core. So this is very important. We understand it's not exactly 40, it's not something 12, it's not something 28 crores. So it is some nearby number. We are appropriately rounded the exact number. And the source where exactly this data we are obtained, that is the census of India 2001. So thank you dear friends who are watching of this video, and subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you for all.